With the global pandemic hitting us in 2020 and it bleeding into 2021, we've seen and will see some of the weirdest seasons in NASCAR history. But back before the world went to hell, there was the 2010s. Now, there's a debate between whether 2011 or 2014 was the best season of this decade, or if 2015 or 2019 is the worst of this decade. But what year is the weirdest, the craziest one? My answer? The 2012 season. Starting off, of course, you have to look at the first race of the year with the Daytona 500. For the first time in history in 2012, the Great American Race would be delayed by rain until the following Monday night. Being on the weekday primetime lineup would be monumental on accident for NASCAR, and also would set the stage for the absolute craziest moment in the Daytona 500's history.
Trying to clear debris off the racetrack, and the car brakes, won't steer, and he slides up the track and into the back of that surplus helicopter jet engine on a trailer used to dry the racetrack.
Mike, I saw sparks coming out from the car as if it had a tire down or something. What an incredible turn of events. I've never in my life.
Yep, we're bringing up the jet dryer incident. But what more can I really say about it? A piece broke in the 42 car and he spun out of control into turn 3 and hit a jet dryer. Weird? Yes. But what came out of it was a funny spectacle for the ages. Now, a few weeks later, we just had an outright weird race at Auto Club, quite simply for the fact that it was a caution-free race, aside from the final laps because of rain that led to the ultimate rainout. Even with how good the drivers are nowadays, it's still odd to see them go caution-free. This would be completely flipped on its head the next week at Martinsville. In the closing laps, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson were battling for Hendrick Motorsports' 200th win. But when it just seemed to be in reach, the real battle began, as David Rudiman had stopped on the track due to 2 flat tires, and it led to the battle on the pits, where the 48 and the 24 would stay out, giving way to an insane restart because everybody else went in.
Newman, he gave Boyer a shot getting out of the turn line. There goes Newman. Newman's going to take the lead. That's exactly what I knew would happen.
That was not pretty.
Now, on-track action wasn't the only story following the race, as Kurt Busch would get into off-track altercations with the media.
Did it impact you, how you raced, Justin? The fact that you're on probation after that, you said he was racing you?
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you ask me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things, Bob.
It's racing.
It is not racing. You're in this just to start stuff. You know, that's all you're out here for.
For this incident, Busch would be getting a 1-week suspension. But the news wouldn't stop there. In a shocking twist, then points leader Matt Kenseth announced that he'd be leaving Roush Fenway Racing, and later would announce he'd signed with Joe Gibbs Racing. It was shocking because Kenseth hadn't raced for any other team in his career, and he was leaving while being seemingly at the top of his game at Roush. It was quite an odd turn of events. He would be involved a few weeks later at the Pocono Raceway in a crazy finish to the rain.
Turn 1 on restarts at Pocono. Trouble! Kenseth in the wall, Biffle in the wall, Kenseth spins into the pack!
But while Pocono was crazy, it only was a precursor for the craziness of Watkins Glen. For the last couple laps of the race, many were really oddly sliding and spinning out of control. Bobby Labonte had blown an engine, dumping oil all over the track and setting up for a finish for the ages.
Line into turn 1. There's something wrong with the 18. trying to get second from Keselowski while he tries to get the lead from Kyle. Contact in the S's.
It's right, gotcha.
Dangerous spot on the track for Kyle to be sideways. Looks like he gets off to the guardrail. No caution yet. Here's the race for the lead.
Keselowski's got damage on the left front.
Is the tire going to make it all the way around?
Watch him here. Watch him.
And will the 9 help him? Everybody's in the grass.
No, you're clear. Dig, dig, dig.
That might have been the race right there. We'll see. No, Keselowski's slower. Keselowski's got a problem. Trying to stay with Ambrose. 2 final corners. Do they use the bumpers? A nudge, a push. Can Ambrose save it? To the checkered flag. Who gets here first?
Clear, clear. Come back to
Ambrose,
you.
9. Keselowski, 2. Final corner. Marcus Ambrose is going to win at Watkins Glen in a remarkable last lap turn of events.
Now, finishes weren't the only thing getting on the crazy train. Bristol Motor Speedway, after years of fan outcry about boring racing at the last great Coliseum, took action. SMI took drastic measures to get old Bristol back. It backfired in the best possible way, and was almost a complete inverse of the Watkins Glen race. Crazy all race with a chilled out finish. So how was it so crazy? Well, the track grinded up the top groove, trying to make it unraceable, and it actually made it the preferred line. The result was insanity, punctuated by Matt Kenseth and Tony Stewart's ill-fated fight for the lead.
And there he goes. Smoke is going to be able to hold it.
Well, he got to the line that he wanted to, so see how far Kenseth drives it in here. He couldn't get his slide job to work quite as good. It's a lot of contact.
Oh, no. There they go.
Wow. That didn't work out for either one of them. A little too hard. Tony not very happy. Whoa. Yeah. Gosh, looks familiar. Well, we know what Tony thinks.
I haven't seen one of those in a while.
What are you talking about?
The old helmet toss.
I've seen one before.
I know.
Now, the chase for the Sprint Cup also accelerated the weird craziness to another level. Starting off at Dover, due to an ill-timed caution, almost the entire field was caught off the lead lap. This ultimately led to 6 cars finishing on the lead lap. A really odd way to throw back to the 60s and 70s, if I say so myself. The next week at Talladega, it got odd in a bad way. In the final laps of the race, a close pack of about 30 cars were raging towards the finish. Due to the bad crash on the final lap, inside of the pack, Dale Earnhardt Jr. would suffer what would later be admitted as his second concussion in a couple weeks. Scared by the effects of it and from expert attention, Earnhardt announced that he would not race the next 2 races at Charlotte and Kansas. It was quite odd to see the most popular driver sitting out from injury. And in general, it's really odd to happen in sports anywhere. Before then, the last time the most popular person in a sport had sat out from injury would be Tom Brady in 2008. Earnhardt would return at Martinsville though, and that's where our last and craziest occurrence of the season started. Remember the Bowyer dive bomb at Martinsville earlier in the year? Well, Jeff Gordon did, and so when Bowyer made contact with him again at the paperclip, it set him off a bit, and they started making a lot more contact at the end of the race. This anger carried all the way over to Phoenix a couple weeks later, and after contact once more occurred, ending Gordon's race for competition basically that day, Gordon repaid the favor in the most explosive way of the year.
He's turning Clint Bowyer into the wall, collecting Joey Logano. Caution flag is out.
That was a real act of a champion.
Almirola slides in. Did the leader take the white flag before the caution came out?
There's worth of frustration.
Oh, conflict. The crews are in it. Somewhere in the middle of that is Jeff Gordon.
think Boyer wants his opportunity at this. Can't really blame him.
That's stupid.
This moment ended Boyer's championship bid and basically handed the title to Brad Keselowski, meaning that Homestead would be relatively uneventful for a race compared to years past, especially compared to 2011. It'd be a weaker ending for what was such a crazy year. So, after hearing this, I want to pass it on to you. What was the weirdest and craziest part of the 2012 season? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video, and share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. And until next time, have a good one.
Are you there? Congratulations, my friend.
I'm here.
You are the
Where you at, bud?
I'm right here having a good time hanging out and thinking about how happy
You're not
you must
having
be.
as good a time as I am, Dave.
No question about that.
I'm on my phone, and I was checking some Twitter.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple beers.
We heard.
And life has been good.